I designed and launched this program after a few years teaching and working in London and working at the British Library. And one day I just thought, wouldn't it be marvellous if everything I've learned during my time at the BL as a researcher was to become the focus of an MA program.
I think what makes this MA stand out is the way in which the module that's linked to the British Library and Lambeth Palace Library really gives the students an opportunity to engage with the material culture of the early modern period, particularly through the books and manuscripts.
I think the different kinds of literature that you get to work on as part of this MA, in terms of both the genres but also the kind of material, the sort of physical text, I think that's something that's really exciting about this MA, and that's really drawn out by the partnership with the British Library.
The British Library was originally founded as the Library of the British Museum back in the 18th century. It has a long history going back several hundred years, and it's been collecting books and manuscripts for all of that time. That makes it a great collection to work with because, as well as being a very broad, very comprehensive collection, it's also a very deep collection.
One of the main sources of professional satisfaction for me is to see the students start off reading as one would generally read an early modern literary text, and then slowly get a sense of how the text came about, how it was produced, how different it is from what you get to read today in modern editions.
It is actually very exciting to see the reaction on students' faces when they first have an opportunity to handle books that they may have studied using student textbooks and put a lot of work into trying to understand from a textual point of view.
What I often say to the students is that you're very good at reading texts. What perhaps you're not so well trained at is looking at objects, and one of the things I try to teach on the MA course is how to look at books and manuscripts as objects and what you can learn from them.
Students may work initially on early modern manuscripts or on early modern printed texts and editing in the first semester at King's, but at the same time they're working in the British Library, actually being able to take a good close look at, to hold the various manuscripts and the books, and to get the flavour and the odour and the physical reality of these objects.
I've tried very hard actually to give a broader context, not to limit the types of books we've been looking at to literary texts.
We'll look at things that we might think of as very canonical. We look at Sidney and Shakespeare and Ben Jonson, but we might look at a sonnet by Sidney alongside a defence of the free press or a letter written by a rural gentlewoman.
I think the students who would most enjoy this MA actually can't be put in one little category. I think people who love early modern literature, poetry, prose, drama of any kind are bound to get an enormous amount out of the MA.
The ideal student would be someone who already has an interest in the period and sees the period as one of the pinnacles in the rise of English as a literary language, but is also interested to find out more about the manufacturing of the books and the transmission of the books.
It would definitely be someone who isn't afraid of hard work, who absolutely loves early modern, absolutely loves learning new things, enjoys visiting places like the V&A, the British Library, and of course is excited, enjoying all the great things London has to offer.
It's a very stimulating environment where it's not just what you get to learn on your 4 modules, but it's also the public events that we encourage the students to take part in.
Since we're in London, people pass through all the time. That gives us the chance to be a focus for global early modern and Shakespeare study. What we have is a context which has history in the field of the study of early modern literature, and it's something that running this MA with the British Library has really allowed us to focus on and to bring together into something which offers a great context for anyone who wants to work on the field.